one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks everybody for being here. Is there any changes to the agenda? And if not, we would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Robin, second by Mike. Is there any further discussion?
Just to note, they'll strike budget and finance.
Oh, yep, there was no budget and finance committee meeting, so we will strike that report.
There's no personnel either.
Yeah, we kind of met via email.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
You want to talk about the email? All right,
It's up to you. I think we have one on Friday.
yeah, we can strike personnel. It's on the agenda anyway, so. All right, anything else? Not, we had a motion and a second. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Agenda is approved. Guests in open forum, is there anybody here tonight that would like to speak before council? All right, so we'll move on to number 6, committee reports, presentations, and awards. We have the 2025 audit presentation. Mr. Ebensteiner is going to kick it off.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council. Excited tonight to have the 2025 audit presentation. So with that, I'll introduce Justin Nilsson, a partner with Abdo, in charge of our audit. After his presentation, I'll just have a quick wrap up.
Sounds great. Welcome, Justin.
All right, yeah, thank you to the Mayor and Council for having me at your meeting. Thanks to Mark and his staff for all their hard work as part of the audit. We couldn't do without them, so I appreciate that. I will be running through a quick PowerPoint slideshow, I suppose. Again, I'll just go over a brief introduction of what I will be going over in my slides. So again, I'll go over the audit opinion and responsibility of the firm and share our audit opinion and any related findings. I'll then go into the general fund results, followed by the other governmental funds, and close with some of the enterprise fund results. So again, sharing the audit results, we did issue a clean unmodified opinion, which is the opinion that the city is looking for. So we arrived at that opinion by testing a number of different transactions around paying of bills, paying of employees, looking at utility billing, property tax, transactions, etc. We also take a look at what the city council gets to make decisions as part of that and those controls as well. So again, that arrived us at our unmodified opinion. We had no internal control related findings as part of our audit for the current year. So overall good there. The second thing we are required to do as part of our audit is test Minnesota state statutes in compliance with those statutes. The Office of the State Auditor does put specific guides on their website that we are required to test as part of our audit for cities. Again, a couple examples of those items would be timely payment of bills within 35 days of receipt and any lack of conflicts of interest with anybody at the city or on the city council. So again, those are a couple examples. We did have one instance of non-compliance that I will go over here on the next slide. Again, related to contract and bidding. Again, this is labeled as that legal compliance. Contracts over $175,000 are required to have payment and performance bond as required again by that state statute. Again, the project that we did select as part of our testing over that threshold did not have those bonds. Again, as noted in the management response, again, a checklist has been created and is being used in the future to kind of monitor those items. So again, that's just our finding for the year related to contracts mainly in bidding. Getting into the governmental and starting with the general fund results, we do have a slide that compares the general fund reserves to the future year's budget. Again, these are offset by 1 year intentionally, looking again at that top line, which is the budget, and comparing the overall general fund balance as well as the city's general fund balance policy as the black line to those expenditures. So again, I think overall the past 5 years, the city has been in excess or at its fund balance policy amount. Again, that policy did increase from 40 to 60% back in 2024. So again, I think overall results have been pretty positive. Again, we do note that kind of the yellowish orange line in the middle there, has stuck around that 60 to 65%, although that amount has continued to go up, as well as the expenditure or the budget line item has gone up as well. Again, one of the other significant or other things to point out here is that the community center budget and actual is included in a little bit of that increase from the 24 to the 25 number as well. So focusing just on 2025, looking at the general fund budget to actual, again, we show just a quick chart here of the current year, looking at the final budget on the left, actual amounts in the middle, and the variance with the budget on the right-hand side. Again, actual result, or excuse me, the final budget was adopted at a balanced budget or a zero increase either way in the fund balance. So the actual amounts did come in more favorable. Again, overall actual fund balance did increase close to 300,000. Again, how we got there, revenues were over budget, close to a little over 900,000, mainly related to some additional grant revenue or intergovernmental revenue received, as well as investment earnings in excess of budget during the year. Expenditures were also under budget, close to 625,000. Again, some of the major reasons for that was just some open positions or some vacant positions unfilled during the year. So again, this did, when we look at the revenues in excess of expenditures, close to 1.5 million did allow the city to kind of approve a transfer outside of its budget to fund some future or current and future street projects. So overall, a good year, increasing that fund balance close to 300,000 in comparison. Next slide is as a 3-year comparison, again, of just general fund revenues and expenditures, as well as transfers by type. Again, these are, just to put things in a little different way, getting out of the numbers and trying to put them in a more of a graphical format. I'm looking for things that jump out over the past 3 years. Starting with the left-hand side, again, looking at revenues. Again, I think the thing we point out here really is that the taxes and property taxes makes up such a significant portion, even with the other activity that does go into the general fund. So again, I think that that's something to keep in mind. Again, that other category includes things like investment earnings as well as charges for services. The right-hand side, we can see those expenditures. Again, a couple of things do jump out here as well. Again, I'll just point those out real quick. Culture and Rec, again, the community center was already mentioned on the previous slide. That was adopted or pulled into the general fund, so that accounts for a big portion of the decrease or the comparison to prior years, as well as that transfer out that I mentioned is different or is in excess of the prior year amount. So again, just a 3-year comparison of those expenditures for informational purposes other than those things that I point out. The next type of funds would be the special revenue funds. Again, there are 3 of those: golf course, state loans, as well as economic development. So again, these type of funds had a positive year as well, increasing close to 290,000. Again, the golf course fund, which I'll go over on the next slide in a little more detail, had a good year, increasing close to 140, as well as the EDA increasing closer to 150,000. So again, the only other thing that I point out in our second chart here is just looking at those resources being mainly restricted and committed, which in a way means they really can't be used for other things. They're kind of just used for those funds specifically. Would need some council action or otherwise to use those for others. Right, as I mentioned, we do go over and we have a slide in here for the golf course budget to actual. Again, same chart as we had for the the general fund final budget left, actual in the middle, variance on the right. I think just in real short, again, the charges for service for the golf course did have a really good year in excess of budget, close to 230,000, as well as some of the investment earnings. Some of the expenditures did follow that a little bit with the current year expenditures in excess of budget, close to 130,000. But I think, again, a lot of activity obviously goes into this fund, and a good year for the fund to increase close to 140,000. All right, the next type of funds is the capital project funds. Again, the city has some dollars, significant dollars included in some of these funds. And again, a lot of activity and big dollar amounts running through these. And I think overall the balance did decrease a little bit with some of the project expenditures, mainly for the city hall improvements that we're in now. So again, I think other funds did experience increases like revolving capital and trunk facilities. And again, the second chart here just really does look at those resources. And again, separate from the special revenue, these resources really are assigned and can be used, mainly for the funds that they're in, but that can be used for other things as well should other needs arise. All right, so the last one before the enterprise funds, I believe, is the debt service fund. Again, these are governmental debt service funds. We do just put this information together mainly as informational, just looking at the total bonds outstanding, years of maturity, and we equate that to a schedule below. We can also see again graphically that one of the bonds does mature and kind of falls off in 2022 or 32 2033. The only other thing I point out on this slide a lot of times is just looking at the bond outstanding and the interest close to 14 million and only total assets currently of about 1.4 million. Again, the difference between those two items would be future collection of tax receipts and other revenues. All right, so the last ones are going to be the enterprise funds. I'm going to go over the water fund first. Just a real quick introduction of the two charts. The top chart is titled Cash Flow from Operations. Again, does not include any capital related purchases. Is kind of meant to compare the operating receipts to operating costs and debt payments. And the second chart really does just look at the cash balance over the past 4 years, and we do have a city outline target balance there as well. So again, for the water fund, looking at that orange line in excess of, the overall operating costs, the past 3 years, again, getting a lot more consistent or close in the last year with maybe some rising costs. In the water fund, again, just something to keep in mind going into the future budget cycle. But this equates pretty well to the bottom chart. Again, overall cash balance is kind of on a consistent trend in the right direction, remaining fairly consistent, but increasing a little year over year and above the city's target balance. Next one would be the sewer fund. Again, the same two charts. This one's a little bit, has a little bit more detail. We have a LPI reimbursement that goes to pay some of those debt service payments. But again, over the past 3 years in this case, those revenues or resources have been in excess of those costs. And we see a good trend, again, similar in the right direction in the overall cash balance, with the overall cash balance being in excess of that target. The last slide I do have is we talk a lot about different funds, different fund balances and things, just to kind of tie things together, look at what we have in the bank and then with our investments, just looking at, a snapshot of the overall cash investments and looking at that, and just looking at how those are, broken out between the different types of funds that I presented on. And I think, again, overall things look good here, and again, a good mix between the different types of funds. No one is ignored. I think everything has some good reserves and good planning for the future. So with that, I've reached the end of my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
I had a question back a couple pages. I forget what it was now. You were talking about, was it the debt service? No. What's on the next page?
Capital was before debt service, Mike?
Yeah, that might have been, but we'll let it go.
You wanna look here?
Well, I got it here too.
Justin, in your experience, 60% for the fund balance policy, is that kind of something you see pretty similar among other municipalities that is that a goal that you see quite often?
It's a good question. I think that depending on the way I'd answer it is depending on how the policy is written, I would say it's probably right in line. Again, sometimes there's a minimum fund balance policy, which is probably a little on the lower side. Again, I think depending on the goals of the city, how they have their capital related funds, and whether they have any capital purchases running through their general fund. I think all kind of play into that, but overall, I think that, when the resources, property taxes are received, I think 60% is kind of in line with what we would see typically now.
Sure. Did you find it, Mike?
No, it's, let it go.
Okay. Any other
I should have
questions?
interrupted you at the time.
All right, if there's no other questions, thank you, Mr. Nilsson, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good luck with the rest of the year.
All right, thank you very
Appreciate
much.
Thanks, Justin. I'll just wrap it up here. I want to kind of reiterate what Justin mentioned. Thanks to staff. Finance gets a lot of the accolades with everything, but couldn't do it without the day-to-day transactions and attention to detail from all staff as well. So from here, within a consent agenda, council will formally approve and accept the audit report. From there, we'll submit some of the state reporting that's required. as well as you remember last meeting, we had accepted our third Certificate of Achievement Award. We'll once again submit this year's report for that award as well. I'll go through that process with the National GFOA. So excited for that submission and go from there. So appreciate the support from council and looking forward to jumping into the budget cycle soon. So,
All right.
all right.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks,
I do have
staff.
one question.
Yeah.
The one where you mentioned that we didn't have the bid, that we didn't have the proper, what was that?
So that's payment and performance bonds. So contracts over 175,000 are
Right.
required to have payment. So the payment would be that a contractor is, the performance would be that they're completing the work. So
Yep.
it's a bond that says completed work.
Right.
And then the payment would be that they're paying their subcontractors. So as part of that, a lot of times we'll work with engineers and they'll run the project and do all those. This wasn't internally. We did run this project internally. And as we went through the checklist, we did overlook the requirements as part of our bidding process. So as Justin mentioned, we went through a fairly detailed look at that OSA checklist and put together a checklist for our staff. So based on the size of the contract, they can now go and check all the boxes for all the requirements. So was an oversight on that contract, and it was a good item that they noted. And we put in the processes in place to resolve going forward. In the end, anytime we can manage a project in-house, we're gonna save money. In addition, we just wanna make sure we're checking all the boxes on compliance as well, so.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. All right, moving on to 6B, committee reports. Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, we met Monday, the 27th of April, and our main items, we had broken out into a lot of different ones, but it's 7E and 7F on our agenda tonight, so we will save the thunder for that.
All right, any questions for Rick on planning? How about golf?
Golf, we met on the 24th. We went over the financials, they look good. Revenue through April is actually caught up and gotten ahead, even with a little less play. We've had a lot more memberships this year than what we've had. And we discussed the cart path issue, which Phil will be talking about on 7D. And May 18th is this, when the projected starting for the lining on Pond 10.
Okay, any questions for Mike on golf? And joint planning.
Joint planning met on the 28th, and we had just one plat adjustment.
All right, any questions for Robin? Great, we'll move on to number 7, board committee and consultant reports. Letter A, we have the RFP for compensation study. Ms. Mortensen, and this was recommended from personnel, so we did review it last month. We just didn't need to meet in person to do that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for letting me talk about this today because we're saving a whole lot of money from what was budgeted. So you have in front of you the comp study request for proposals that were received. The city had done a complete overhaul of their compensation system in 2022. And as part of that, they said, like 3 to 5 years, you should do a comp study to make sure that you are staying within the market. So we're at 2026, we put out requests for proposals. The end of March, deadline was April 20th for them. We received 12 of them. They averaged 23,000. The lowest one received was 8,500. The largest one received was 48,500. The $8,500 one was from Flaherty and Hood, and they're a very reputable company or firm. So, and it was emailed to the personnel committee, and they thought that was very good value because we had budgeted $25,000 in the CIP, but it's only going to cost $8,500. So I'm just looking for a motion and a second to adopt the resolution 2632 to enter into an agreement with Flaherty and Hood to complete the comp study. It should only take about 4 to 6 weeks. And I will also entertain any questions at this time.
All right, any questions for Shannon?
It's quite a spread.
It is quite a spread.
And did they detail what they're doing for that?
And I called and talked to them to make sure we weren't missing something. And they're just, and all we really wanted was a comp study for a
Right.
market analysis. Some of the other proposals would throw in a benefits analysis or redoing our whole system. And we have the decision-based method system, and we're very comfortable with that. So there was a lot of other things that were put in some of their proposals that we didn't request.
Trying to justify
Billing.
their dollar amount.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll maybe add that, the city's had a relationship with Flaherty and Hood for many, many years, since before I was on council, as far as the, Coalition Utility Cities. They've represented us, with utility issues down in St. Paul for probably 20 years, so, or better even, so, and even on other issues too. So we've had a long history of Flaherty and Hood. I was really surprised that they would come in that low, I guess I was. But you know what, if they, so reputable, yes.
Keep it hush hush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Also, we'll get an email, oh, I meant 18, no. Nope. So,
Yeah, they do a lot of these, so I think they have the expertise and they know how to do it. Any other questions for Shannon? If not, would someone like to move approval of Resolution 2632 to enter into the agreement with Flaherty and Hood to do our compensation study?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Rick, second by Mike. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to letter B, we have the SLA with SEH for the 2026 street improvements. Mr. Knutson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before we get started, that was my demerit that the finance team got. So it was for the HVAC unit at the community center. We were doing a like-for-like replacement, and I didn't want to get the engineers involved and go through that whole process. So I have the checklist, so I know exactly what we need to do on those. So, but I defend what I did because we saved money. So, and we got the project completed on time. And it was a known contractor. So we used McDowell, so it was a known contractor. But lesson learned, to jump through those steps. So Mark has done a good job of getting that list, so we're on the same page moving forward. So. But in front of you tonight, we're looking at a SLA with SEH for construction services for our 2026 street improvements. Pretty customary that we've done this every year. We have these projects. In essence, what it does is we've got an inspector on site making sure that what's in our bid documents is being performed on our city streets. So Jerry Siegfried with SEH has been in town since I've been here. We request him because he's so familiar with the community, does a great job for us. So the total cost of the project or the contract is $96,900. We did factor that into our street CIP, so it is covered within our budget. And just looking for movement on Resolution 2631 to get that started. But I can stand for any questions if you have them.
All right, anybody have any questions for Phil?
Nope.
All right,
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2631, an agreement with SEH.
I'll second.
all right, we have a motion by Mike, second by Rick. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Phil is up again for the Luann Drive SLA.
Yes, this is for engineering, final design, and bid services for Luann Drive. As you know, we've been working on that over the last couple of years with the developers to connect what the termination point of Luann Drive to Edgewood. With that, we need to go through and look at infrastructure, not just the road, but curb, gutter, sidewalks, water lines, sewer lines, all of that stuff, and taking into consideration what the developer is looking at doing there. To get that done, we need to work with SEH. As you know, this work is outside of our master agreement, so we use the SLAs. But tonight, looking for that so we can get started. The SLA is proposed at $68,000, a number not to exceed $68,000, and SEH can get moving on this relatively quick. Depending on how the grant dollars fall in play, this isn't qualified under the grant. This is a cost that we would bear, and we're looking at doing that out of the future improvement funds. But we're looking on the timing, if we can make the grant dollars work, that this project could go out for bid sometime in July, likely your first or probably your second meeting in July, if they get the design work done, which they're confident they can. But it all depends on when those grant dollars can be issued to the city or how we want to move forward with that. So there's a little urgency from the development side of it as well. So this is that step that we need, though, to get the specs done so we can take it out for bid. And we would control that portion of the project, though. So.
Okay, any questions for Phil on the SLA for Luann?
Does this amount, does that apply toward our portion of what we have to pay as far as the grant is concerned, or is it totally above and beyond?
This isn't qualified under the grant. I believe the grant is a 50-50 split. Is that?
That's what I'm asking.
And it's not qualified.
Okay.
I don't think it's covered in that. I think just construction is covered in that split. So this is above and beyond. Correct.
But it wasn't.
Right, yeah, we had planned for it, so we when we first submitted that grant, we knew that these soft costs weren't going to be covered.
Okay.
And future improvement fund is where we're looking at, as was planned.
Sure. All right, any other questions for Phil? If not, would someone like to move approval of Resolution 2638 for the SLA with SCH for Luann?
I'll make that motion. Ooh, hey, girl.
I'll second.
Right. Becky with the very stern motion, and Robin with the second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. And the trifecta, you are up again.
Yes, looking at the cart path improvements for holes, excuse me, 10 and 11 at Pebble Creek. This goes back to when we first introduced the green tea with the county on the Edgewood improvements as it relates to CSAH 23. In order to make that work within the right of way and get the new shared use path going out of town, they're looking to move that right of way just a little bit to the east or encroaching a little bit on the golf course. While we're looking at replacing the cart path already, we have to realign it. We felt it's in the best interest of our patrons to realign it. So I did put in your packet the green tee, and we did kind of show what that cart path is gonna look like. So we're moving it from the west side of the tee boxes to the east side of the tee boxes. And so this work that we're calling out, we worked with Hanson Paving. As you recall, earlier in the year, council awarded the cart path improvement project to Hanson. Third year running that they've been low bid. So we reached out to them because they've been low bid to have them take a look at this portion of the project. Linear foot-wise, the bituminous is spot on. It's a little bit more because of the reclaim they're gonna have to do and use that material to subcut to get that base built up and to put the cart path on top of that. But working with them, we're not going to do, basically from number 10 green south, we're gonna reclaim a portion of that. So it's out of the construction right of way. But we're gonna leave that in place, and we're only gonna improve it to that point right now. So we can keep our patrons out of the construction area, and then we'll do that southern portion next year. We bring it back to council when we're looking at doing the rest of the local 9. So with this, the total number is 10,200 from Hanson. I didn't seek another bid because they've been low bid as suggested. We did talk this through at Golf Committee. I'm recommending that we bring this in as a cost to our streets projects because of the street is why we're doing this. And that's where I would recommend the funding comes from the street CIP for that. We do have funds that we could use from Golf CIP, but I don't believe that would be appropriate, but I would follow your lead on where it goes. So did discuss this with finance as well. They understand the logic that we're dealing with, but look for you guys to give direction on where you'd like to go with it. And with that, I can answer any other questions you would have.
All right, any questions for Phil?
I would agree with the street CIP suggestion that it's not like, it's the 100% the reason we're moving it. Yep. So, makes sense.
Okay. Perfect.
County doesn't want to pay for that, do they?
County's been very nice to us, so I'll take what they've been giving us so far, so.
I was kidding. Nope, I think that makes perfect sense. All right, if there's no other questions for Phil, does someone want to move or make a motion on resolution 2635?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mike, second by Robin for resolution 2635 for the new cart path coming out of the street CIP. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Very much.
One more note, I don't know if it was gonna be mentioned after, before adjournment, but, May 16th is Recycle Day at Northern Metals, from 8 AM till, 11 AM. So just wanna make sure that word is out there. Advertising has been posted. I appreciate the volunteers that are helping out, but just making sure the public's aware of it, so, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Peterson's up. Letter E, the planned unit development, conditional use permit, preliminary plat, and final plat for Fossum Fields, third edition. 3 resolutions with that.
That is correct. Thank you, Mayor and Council. And so tonight are 3 resolutions for Fossum Fields, third edition, resolution 2636 for a PUD conditional use permit, 2637 for the prelim plat, and resolution 2640 for the final plat. And so the applicant for this one is Sherburne Land Company LLC. The property is approximately 16.52 acres located at 153rd Avenue and 127th Street, which you can see in figure 1.1. And this is actually the remaining outlots from the original Fossum Fields development. And so kind of some backstory on this development is the original Fossum Fields was approved in 2004 under resolution 2004-94. There were some initial grading, some storm ponding, some underground utilities that were all constructed on these lots around 2005. And then also in March 2022, council approved a 44 lot prelim and final plat for this property or for this area. However, there was actually no development agreement that was executed and the final plat was never recorded. And so those approvals have lapsed. So tonight's application is a new independent application subject to all the current ordinances, standards, and fee schedules. And the 2022 approval has no vested rights. So kind of what's changed since 2022 in this 2026 proposal is, this one is, it now proposes 52 total lots, which is an increase of 8 lots over the lapsed 2022 approval. That increase is enabled by a PUD, which you have tonight, which was not part of that original 2022 approval. So the PUD requests a few deviations from the standard single-family detached zoning district. Notably, it'd be the minimum lot width would be reduced from 80 feet to 65 feet. The minimum lot depth would be reduced from 136 feet to 120 feet. Minimum lot area reduced from a little under 11,000 square feet to 7,800 square feet. And then the last notable one would be the side yard setbacks for the garages would be reduced to 5 feet rather than 10. And all other setbacks remain the same as a single-family detached zoning district. One note on that is because this is a PUD, the zoning designation will be amended on the official zoning map of the city. So it'll say PUD/SFD for single-family detached. So it'll have its own zoning district. So this development is proposed in 2 phases. Phase 1 is 31 lots along 42nd Avenue on the west and south sides of the plat, anticipated for this summer, late summer. Phase 2 is the remaining 21 lots, estimated 2 to 5 years after phase 1 is complete. Subsequent phase final plat applications must be submitted within 2 years of the prelim plat, or it's considered void. There's one exception that Planning Commission can do a 2-year extension if they choose to do so. And so some key conditions on this one that I wanted to mention is that a development agreement would be required and must be executed before any construction begins or the final plat is recorded. That agreement will come to council at a later time. City engineer has completed a preliminary review and has noted a few concerns similar to those from the 2022 submittal. Written comments will be provided to the applicant and must be addressed to the city engineer's satisfaction prior to recording of the plat. The existing infrastructure from 2005, some sanitary sewer stubs, water stubs, they must be inspected, exposed, and verified before the new construction begins. Park dedication fees and all other applicable fees are subject to the current 2026 fee schedule at the time of final plat recording. Outlot A is dedicated to the city for drainage and stormwater management. There is a 10-foot bituminous trail that's required along the perimeter, around the perimeter of 153rd Avenue and 127th Street, and that'll be installed during phase 1. A 6-foot sidewalk is on one side of all the internal streets. And these are a couple things that are sort of carryovers from the original plat from 2022. There's a vegetative buffer that's required along 127th Street southeast with ongoing maintenance responsibility falling to the property owners. And so that would be lots 12 through 18 of Block 2. And the developer must provide those buyers copies of the resolutions and development agreement. Similarly, fences on lots 12 through 18 of Block 2 must remain outside of the drainage and utility easements of the stormwater basin, which is adjacent to 153rd Avenue, unless somehow they are authorized by city staff and city council. Another one is monument signage at the main entrance on 153rd Avenue. That maintenance will be the responsibility of the future owner of Lot 1, Block 2, and the developer will provide that to the homeowner. Other carryover is that homes must be of varied styles with architectural features, including porches and varied exterior materials, such as stone, brick, or shake. And then one thing I wanted to mention, at Planning Commission, there was some discussion about one-sided street parking. Following that meeting, Phil from Public Works and Randy, the city engineer, did review that. And they basically confirmed that the 32-foot pavement width would meet the city standard and that they really had no concerns that they identified, as well as one note that it is the same as the other two Fossum Fields developments currently. So it'll remain the same. Planning Commission, this item did go to Planning Commission on the 27th. There was a public hearing held there. No public comments were received, and the commission recommended approval of all 3 applications. And so with that, I would be looking for a motion in a second, approving resolution 2636, approving the PUD conditional use permit for Fossum Fields 3rd, as well as a motion in a second approving resolution 2637, approving the prelim plat for Fossum Fields 3rd, and then a motion in a second approving resolution 2640, approving the final plat for Fossum Fields 3rd, subject to the conditions of approval in the resolution text. Well, that was a lot, so I can stand for any questions.
All right, any questions for Austin? Just want to thank staff. I know a lot of thought went into this. I think we met with the developer several months ago, and Denny's here, so thank you. Happy to have you back building here. And this summer's the plan? This summer, great. This is gonna be awesome. All right, any other questions for Austin? If not, we look for a motion on resolution 2636, which approves the PUD CUP.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Robin, second by Becky. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries. Looking for a motion on resolution 2637, which is the preliminary plat approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Robin, second by Rick. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries. And finally, we're looking for a motion on resolution 2640, which approves the final plat for Fossum Fields 3rd edition.
I'll make that motion as well.
We have a motion by Robin, second by Rick. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. Thanks, Denny. Appreciate it. Good luck. All right. Next up, Mr. Sanders is going to talk about density amendments to our comprehensive plan and the UDO.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight before you, we have a request to amend the comprehensive plan and the Unified Development Ordinance. So we received applications from Scott Thompson of True Blue Services, Construction Services, and Todd Olin, who is here tonight representing that development, requesting a reduction in the density per acre for high-density residential development. So our current standard in the comprehensive plan is in medium density it's 6 to 12 units, and in high density it's greater than 12 units. So the application that was submitted would amend that. The application also was submitted on behalf of a potential development, the one on Luann that we've talked about before. When we looked at this, though, we have to look at this at the impacts on the entire city. So even though they're seeing a narrative that's development specific, when staff looked at this and analyzed it, it was for the impacts on all medium density and all high density and what that would be. Typically, of cities of our size, the densities are pretty wide in their range, anywhere from 10 to 30 plus minimum densities. So wide variety for cities of our size. And as we analyzed that and evaluated the broader implications of it, we were comfortable recommending that the ordinance be amended. So the comprehensive plan would be amended and the ordinance would be amended to that unit density. So what we're seeking for would be amending the comp plan first, because that has to come, our zoning has to align with that. So it'd be medium density residential from 6 to 12 units per acre, and then for high density residential land use classification, greater than 10 units an acre. So it's a 2-unit adjustment.
So you meant, the medium, you meant 6 to 10, correct?
6 to 10, sorry, yes. So 6 to 10 units per acre, and then greater than 10 for high. And then Article 1 zoning, so we would require our Unified Development Ordinance to be amended because we do reference those densities in there. And that would be for multifamily low, which is, kind of relates to that mid-density, high-density, 6 to 10 units per acre, and multifamily high at greater than 10 units per acre. So we did, public hearing was held on both the comprehensive plan amendments and the zoning ordinance amendments, and no public comments were received on either of those. So Planning Commission did recommend approval of each of them. So amending the comp plan and amending the UDO. So we'd be seeking for a motion and a second approving resolution 2641, which would amend the comp plan unit densities as referenced in the packet. And then motion and a second approving ordinance 302 second series, which would amend those specific sections of the Unified Development Ordinance Article 1 zoning related to multifamily low and multifamily high zoning districts. And with that, I will answer any questions.
Questions for Jacob? So because the UDO is modified or amended, that would apply everywhere then from that?
Correct, yep.
Right? Okay. All right, any other questions for Jacob? Hearing none, we would look for a motion on resolution 2641, which amends the 2040 comp plan.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Becky, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mike. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries. And then we need a motion on approving ordinance 302, the second series, modifying the UDO.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
We have a motion by Mike, a second by Robin. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries as well.
Thank you.
Jacob.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, administrator and staff reports. We have the Becker Community Center Aquatics Project. Ms. Thomas is here with resolution 2642.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and council members, for your time today. I'm here to speak with you about the 2026 capital improvement plans for the Becker Community Center. Bart Gevins, my predecessor, along with Troy Dawson, maintenance coordinator, began developing this project in early 2025. When I started in June of 2025, I was able to jump right in and continue that momentum. Over the past year, staff have taken a thoughtful and strategic approach to this plan, evaluating facility needs, touring comparable community centers, and identifying improvements that provide the best long-term value. Our vision has been to elevate the Becker Community Center aquatic area to a similar standard that residents experience at high-quality regional facilities such as Maple Grove and Shoreview. We wanted to create a space that feels more modern, welcoming, and engaging for families. Our goal was not to simply repair aging systems, but to refresh the environment so it feels inviting, exciting, and even carries the same energy that you might see at a small water park. The project reflects both practical infrastructure needs and a commitment to enhancing the quality of life for Becker residents. The BCC has over 2,400 members as of May 1st. The pool area serves residents of all ages for swimming lessons, family recreation, lap swimming, aqua aerobics, senior and low-impact fitness. The sauna is a popular amenity, as well as the spa. It's also a very popular regional birthday party space. The aquatic facility is now over 32 years old. Several major systems are original and have reached the end of their expected lifespan. Some equipment is now obsolete, and that makes making repairs nearly impossible. Delaying improvements increases the likelihood of emergency breakdowns, extended pool closures, higher repair costs, and reduced service to residents. So as you may have seen in the RCA, it includes comprehensive details on the scope of each line item in this project, but here's an overview of the improvements. A heat exchanger replacement and relocation, pump and valve modernization, sand filter replacements for the spa and pool systems, replastering the pool shell, replacing drain covers before their future compliance deadlines. That involves draining the pool, so it's best to do it right now while the pool would be drained. Install a modern pool deck surface, repaint structural beams and wall areas, recoat the observation deck floor, replace the outdated mushroom water feature with a more engaging children's play feature, replace the sauna heating element and refurbish the cedar, as well as repair chipping paint on the interior of the water slide, extending its life. As you can see in the RCA, we have reached out to multiple vendors. Recommendations made were based on competitive pricing, proven expertise in the field, existing familiarity with facility systems, and ability to coordinate our timeline effectively. Bundling major pool work under one primary contract improves scheduling and reduces downtime. So you'll see a lot of the work is being completed by Horizon Commercial Pools. This is budgeted in the 2026 CIP project for $529,000. The expected cost is $513,000, just a little over that. This project is expected to take place in approximately 4 to 6 weeks, beginning in August of 2026. Work will be scheduled concurrently to minimize the closure time. Staff are coordinating with the Monticello Community Center as well, so that our members can have access to their aquatic facilities free to them. We've done this in previous shutdowns before with the Monticello Community Center, so it will work similarly to that. This project preserves a heavily used city facility. It reduces future emergency costs. It improves safety, appearance, and community experience. And it demonstrates responsible long-term capital planning. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, anybody have any questions for Brandy?
No.
Looks like there's a
Are
lot
we
going
keeping
on.
the slide?
Yes. Yep, for now. That's a future CIP
Is
project.
it, and we redid that, what, 5 years ago?
2019, it was refurbished.
So did I read that's due for replacement in 29?
Yes, correct. Yep. So we just have some minimal paint chipping on the inside of the slide that has to be repaired for safety. And so we're just sanding it down and repainting it, and that'll extend its life until 2029. So if I don't have any questions, I'm seeking a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2642 to move forward with the Becker Community Center Aquatics Project.
All right, is there any other questions? Mike, were you asking because you're ready to get going down that slide again? That's-
When we did it before, I actually went and looked at it, how bad it was.
Did you go down it though?
No, I never have, actually.
Well,
Ooh,
you better get in there before 29.
Yeah.
Council field trip.
Anyway, it was in pretty tough shape, and it required a lot of extensive work, and
right. I think it's been sanded so much that this will probably be the last time we really can, right, without replacing it.
It's due for replacement, yep.
And they're pretty expensive. You say, why not just do it now? They're pretty expensive, so.
Yep.
That's-
yes, very expensive.
All right, well, if there's no further questions for Brandy, does someone want to move approval of Resolution 2642?
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mike, second by Becky. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries. Thank you. I know it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Mr. LaRue, I think we're at the consent agenda.
Mayor Kobinger, City Council members, items for review, approval, or adoption on tonight's consent agenda include the hiring and termination report. Authorized to Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 payment of claims is presented. The claims listing has been provided to the City Council as a separate document and is available upon request for public view at City Hall. Total claims are $559,657.25. Authorized electronic transactions as presented in the March 31st, 2026 journal. The journal has been provided to the City Council as a separate document and is available for public view at City Hall upon request. Approve the minutes of the April 21st City Council meeting. Approve the minutes of the April 21st executive session. Adopt Resolution 26-34 approving the 2027 budget preparation calendar. Approve new cannabis microbusiness license registration for Great Cannabis LLC. Adopt Resolution 26-39 approving test well agreement with MPCA for well number 6 monitoring. Adopt Resolution 26-33 approving and accepting the annual comprehensive financial report and audit results for the year ended December 31, 2025. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions for Greg on the consent agenda?
No.
Hearing none, would someone like to move approval of said consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Robin, a second by Mike. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. That motion carries. All right, on to anniversary announcements. Susan's got quite the list here, so if anybody wants to grab a snack, this might take a while. So our May anniversary list, thank you to these employees. Greg LaRue, 4 years. Congratulations.
Wow.
I think he brought treats to celebrate. So.
Chips and salsa.
Yeah.
Derek Rhodes, maintenance at Public Works, 5 years. Bill Knutson, Public Services Director, 7 years. And that was your first contract mistake earlier. Congratulations, that's pretty good. Kristen Hines, Administrative Technician in Police Department, 8 years. Oh, do we have a discrepancy in Phil's longevity? Is it 7? Okay, Rick thought it was 8. All right.
You know more than me.
Making sure. We don't want to goof someone's years of service up. What's for the 7-year anniversary? Is that like certificate or something?
Wood.
Would, yeah. Yeah. All right, part-time, Curtis Birch, groundskeeper at golf, 10 years. Aaron Bordson, groundskeeper at golf, 5 years. Roberta Getskow, customer service at the community center, 5 years. Alyssa Krenz, childcare at community center, 5 years. And our seasonal employees, Ernie Risher at golf, 17 seasons.
Wow.
The Pride of Brownton, Minnesota, Dewey Summerdorf, groundskeeper at golf for 12 seasons. Zach Stanger, groundskeeper at golf for 6. Luke Bordson at golf for 6 years. Cynthia Lodenbach, groundskeeper golf, 6 years. Andrew Kobinger, pro shop attendant, 6 years at golf. Zach Winter at golf, 5 years. Josh Erke at golf, 5 years. David Voigt, golf, 5 years. Daniel Olson, golf, 5 years. Dan Brannon, golf, 5 years. Chris Reed, golf, 5 years. And Ashley Reed at golf, food and beverage, 5 years. So thank you to all those employees and congratulations. Thank you for your continued service to the city. Does anybody else have anything? Oh, I do.
Oh, boy. Papers. Told you I can't read.
Sorry, you don't have to read it. Oh, do we have an extra copy? We'll have to give one to, Don. I think we got one more, don't we? Don, you wanna come grab a copy? May 5th, 2026, we got a little letter today notifying us that the post office is coming back. Yay. Okay, I was more excited than that, but. No, that's the good news. The Postal Service did notify us today that they are, they've initially identified Lot 1, which is the north corner of Highway 10 and Edgewood Street. So they are working on purchasing that. They're planning to bring not only retail, but operations back as well. That's the good news. The bad news is it's gonna take them a while. So they did let me know that they will have an initial review period where they will make sure that that's a suitable location, make sure that the zoning requirements and things are going to work, and then they expect the actual construction will take between 9 and 12 months. So I have let them know numerous times that we will expedite any review and do whatever we can to get that going, obviously, as fast as we can, but
And I'm guessing zoning won't be a problem.
zoning won't be a problem. If it is, we're gonna have a problem, Jacob. I'm just kidding. No, it's not a problem, all right. So I do wanna thank the community and council. We've been working on this for 16 months. I looked in my email folder today and it was over 250 emails related to the post office, and Senator Smith and Congressman Emmer have been really good about being very involved, and I just thank everybody, and staff here has been very involved for their persistence, because I think if we weren't the squeaky wheel there, I don't think this would have happened, so.
I agree.
That's, I think that's pretty cool. So, I'm excited.
Thank you for writing all those emails.
Absolutely. Most of them were professional even.
Most.
Not all. Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we'll have to get new shirts.
55308-1?
Yeah,
Let's wait till we do the ribbon cutting.
yes, yes, that's probably a good idea. But today we're winners, so we're very happy about that.
Do we have a date on Bill's opening? Just because I have people asking me and I have no idea. Oh, hi.
Come on up before Tony scolds ya. He was ready.
Yep.
I know.
I don't think we have a specific date, but I can tell you from the building inspection side, they're getting close to getting finals, so.
Nice.
In the next, I
looks
think in the next
great.
couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, so at least that's the hope. I know their original plan was May 20th, but I don't know if that'll bump up a little bit from there, but they're really close, that's what I'll tell you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And boy, congrats to Grant and his family and staff. What a great view when you come into town now.
Just when they laid the grass, I was like, this is so nice.
I know, it looks so nice.
Yeah.
I like Robin's comment
so
a
good,
long
I'm
time
almost willing to mow
ago.
it for
You can actually stop in Becker now. You don't have to drive to St. Cloud to use the bathroom, because that looks really nice.
Great.
That's gonna be awesome. That was Robin's comment,
Hey,
right?
I get it.
Used to drive by and think, well, I think I can hold it for a few more miles.
Yep,
And
Don't
this-
stop at home, just go
Very
all the way to
Oh,
St. Cloud.
This looks awesome. I'm super excited. That's gonna be wonderful. The bank made an announcement. They're gonna be renovating and doing some things, so things are looking up. That's pretty cool. Does anybody have anything else to come before council? If not, I would entertain a motion to recess this meeting and enter into closed session pursuant to Minnesota statute, chapter 13D, subdivision 3A, to conduct the city administrator's annual performance review.
We'll make a motion.
Motion by Rick and a second by Robin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Motion carries. We will move into recess this meeting to do Greg's review. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
could do it here, but it's better to do it the next one when there's people here.
Agree.
Good.
Okay, so we've returned from our closed session for the purpose of conducting the city administrator's performance review. We don't have any other business to come before council tonight, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
A second?
We got a motion by Mike, second by Rick. All in favor of adjourning, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Meeting's adjourned at 6:31.
Do you have your?